be up for motions, babe. Kiss my neck, I'm losing patience. You tell me, but I ain't against it at all, yeah, at all, babe. Touch after touch, I get closer to the eye. Go on and don't stop it till I say enough, enough. I can't feel my body is numb, but I live in this vibe. Can you feel my heartbeats? Can you feel my heartbeats? My heartbeat. I can't feel my body is numb, but I live in this vibe. Can you feel my heartbeats? Can you feel my heartbeats? Can't feel. How can I be up for motions, babe? Kiss my neck, I'm losing patience. You tell me, but I ain't against it at all, yeah, at all, babe. Touch after touch, I get closer to the eye. Go on and don't stop it till I say enough, enough. I can't feel my body is numb, but I live in this vibe. Can you feel my heartbeats? Can you feel my heartbeats? My heartbeat. I can't feel my body is numb, but I live in this vibe. Can you feel my heartbeats? Can you feel my heartbeats? My heartbeat. I can't feel my body is numb, but I live in this vibe. Can you feel my heartbeats? Can you feel my heartbeats? My heartbeat. I can't feel my body is numb, but I live in this vibe. Can you feel my heartbeats? Can you feel my heartbeats? Can't feel.
Hey all, welcome to the stream. Hopefully levels are okay. Just let me know in chat if they aren't, because it's been a while since I've streamed. Thank you, a pair of eyeballs, for stopping in. Sorry that you can't stay around, but thanks for the kind words. Okay, so this facility tour, actually I really want to start off with thanking everybody for hitting 500 subscribers, because it's been just literally is mind-blowing. Creating content that you love creating is having people support it and like it. It just leaves you speechless sometimes, so thank you all. First, this facility tour, starting off with what started it all, Volsung Industries, which is Stratos. It started off in this little platform here, prototypes, and the DLC version. We're on a modded planet, Paradis. I really can't remember who made it. Insanity? I think that was the modder. Wow. I'll learn how to talk during this stream, possibly. From here, we're going to move down into the R&D labs and manufacturing. If you have any questions, just feel free to post them in chat as I go, and I will stop and explain something further if you want to look at something more. Through these doors we have, which you may have seen in the Pioneer platform video, is the control room for the manufacturing, where the small parts would be manufactured then moved out of this building to be built for the bigger projects like Atlas or Nexus. And if you continue down this corridor as we go into the 2 R&D labs that are currently here. This is the first one, which I have left the door open. And so much time prepping for this, there's probably something wrong somewhere. And a lot of this is still a work in progress, but I've just been building as I go. As I build a new ship, I build a new room, I build something new on the base. And this is the second larger R&D room. And as we continue down here, we'll come to a ladder, and at the bottom is, I will just drop down the ladder. Safety issues. In here is our reactor room. Powers the whole base. I really love these pipe blocks. They've been amazing to build. Hello, Miss Nomad. How are you doing today? And then up this ladder, if you take it all the way to the top, you'll head down a corridor that has 2 Aerion's hangars. Or I didn't go all the way up, did I? No, I didn't. That is just so much fun sometimes. Down this really long corridor, which I really like these half corridors they added with signal, you'll come to Aerion. Which, if you've watched the Aerion video, you've seen it fly out of this hangar. This version of Aerion is set up to open those doors. And each little area I've made for these ships is to show how, I mean, I'm keeping a role-playing mindset of showing a potential customer how they could set up their ship in their area where they could house their ship if they bought it. And from here we're going to head over across the way to Shadow. These are the Aerion prototypes you would have also seen in the video. Across the way you can see the hangar for Shadow Project, which was the only video that I released that was not a commercial style. It's supposed to be like a leaked footage, like someone stole the footage and released it. This is a fun little build right here though, doing the runway with the lights. It's definitely one of my favorite places on the base. Here we have Shadow set up in the hangar with all the things you need. It's bombs, extra fuel. Obviously, those thrusters won't actually fit on the ship, but they're thrusters. Parts and shelves. Random panels. Then a cot or a bed that somebody's been sleeping in here. Then we'll head out of here and head over to Valor, which for the rest of the tour we'll be able to drive. So this is Valor and Valor Scout that fits very nicely. Not very safely in the back. You have to tie it down with a mag clip. This is also a very fun build. Building large ships in small grid. Very challenging. We're gonna hop in the Valor Scout and drive over the Nexus? No, we're gonna drive over to the Atlas. Hopefully with no crashes. No promises. Little stop here though, because a little sneak peek. To the left, you'll see Project Vixen, which will be an up and coming commercial very soon. I gotta turn my mic up. Thank you. Once I knew my levels would be slightly messed up. See if that's better. Let me know if I have to go any lower. Wow, I almost crashed into a wall. So the Ariane prototypes to our right still, and then we're going to go through this area, which is heavily under construction, is the Atlas and the Atlas pod carriers. So first we'll walk over to here to where the construction is happening. Pod carriers. And yet again, this is how if you were to set this up on your base, just my ideas of what you would do. 3 pods here for like a loading or a dock platform. Pod carriers docked right here. Some little like porta potties for the construction workers. Very interesting. Then we'll continue down this path to the right and we'll go up to this little lounge area right before docking of the Atlas. I love the views of this planet. This has been my favorite modded planet by far. On here, a little sit-down area, nice, area to relax. Then we have the Atlas. don't think too much was shown inside the bridge in the video of the Atlas. Walk around and I really like how this bridge came out. And then from here, we're gonna get back down into the Valor Scout and head off to the Nexus. Thank you very much for saying that. I don't know how I'd pronounce your name. TKK. No, TKLXYZNG. Thank you. I was honestly going to try to pronounce that, but I don't know what that would sound like. It's going to be fun to try and turn around. Some Austin Power style maneuver here. Hopefully we don't get stuck. Doesn't have a very good turn radius. Maybe we'll just back it up. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be smart and we're gonna just back it up. No, we're not gonna ramp it off the edge, even though I really want to right now. We have Ariane's hangar right there. Haven't finished setting up lighting outside yet. This path is very new. A little sneak peek at Project Manta over there. I'm gonna take a stop here and look at Nexus. Set up a little docking way of walking on. Every build I make, I try to think, how are you going to get onto this? Like, realistic somewhat to an extent. How are you going to board this and get off of it? Ariane, Kratos. This was a very fun build, the Nexus, because I went crazy building it. Trying to build something at this scale out of small grid. Definitely had a bunch of failed needed builds before I got to this. And then from here we'll head on over to the Pioneer platform. That's awesome. Yeah. It's definitely how I design things. On a need basis. Especially this one. I needed to transport Ariane. Kratos. We'll build a ship that does that. We're going to head on over here to Pioneer platform. There's another one of my favorite. I mean, it's hard to say which one's my favorite boat, but definitely one of them. This all started with just a basic design that I liked, and I saw that I could push it into 3 different types. Like the pure scout, the drone, and then a slightly more defensive one. And again, a lot of these builds came from awesome comment recommendations. Someone's like, I want to see a drone, I want to see an explorer, I want to see a carrier or cargo, stealth bomber. The dropship. Those were all recommendations through comments where I was like, oh, let's see how I can make that happen. Yeah, I definitely enjoy flying the Stratos around a lot. Take a quick little look at this area, but we're not doing it. In the near future, we will definitely get a commercial for this. That's the Pathfinder project right now. Nice little area built for it. Right, that's one of my most fun land vehicles to drive around right now. Thank you, Miss Snowman. Always nice to hear compliments like that. Anything anybody wants to see more of? If not, I'm gonna probably head down to my building area and we'll just start building some stuff. Unless someone wants to see a specific thing be built. Kind of show off my building process. Yeah, with optical optics. Or optical stuff. Topsy, it's great to see you. Hope you know that's going on a shirt eventually. Something about your line of optical optics. Now I can't even say optics. VIP parking? The Strata. You could land on the helipad with Stratus lands. I made a cop for person. I didn't think to make a VIP parking. I'm sorry. Park this right here right now. It's amazing to see the channel thriving, and you've been a huge part of that. So thank you so much for reaching out to me and offering your services. Yeah, I've been playing this since the beginning, on and off. In the beginning, I didn't really know what to do when this game first started. I didn't really know what it was going to become, but these days, it's absolutely amazing what you can create. You think it up, you can make it. This little project right here. Because all this started with just my daughter accidentally screen recording a build. I was like, what if I just start building stuff and uploading it? Thanks, Topsy. Just gonna fly over the beach. Could start working on this. Oh yeah, there's still. This is where I build stuff. The classic landing gear pillar. Start building off of. You can get some ideas from this of what. I mean, you get a brief look at what Manta was, but you get some ideas right here of what Manta will be. Manta was also a recommendation for someone who wanted a very specific anti-fighter build. That's definitely a release in the very near future, upcoming weeks. The next 3 builds are small grid. But then it's looking like a large grid, a pretty big large grid after that. Because right now in the works we have the Vixens next. After that should be Pathfinder, and then it's looking like Manta is after that. And then, I don't know. There's been something shared to me to work on, and it's a large grid ship. And hey, Keitho, how are you doing? Mansour Le... I don't know how to pronounce that. Hello, found your channel recently and really love what you're doing. Thank you so much. It's always awesome to hear. Thank you for being here. Vixen sounds interesting. I wonder how I came up with that name, Dopsy. Yeah, I was not going there. I don't know. I keep it family friendly. My daughter's in my room with me right now. So is my son. I know it's French, and it's probably the correct way of saying it. Then I have a 6-year-old girl that's gonna repeat me. I have a tech support. No, I mean, yeah, every company has it. Two great employees, Roy and Moss, Jen, for tech support. A lot of my builds probably come to me or are done within a few hours. Look at some of these, but like this Manta design. I'll actually do a quick. I'll fly over to the Manta real quick. I would say that this Manta right here is about a 3-hour build. And it's not fully done either. While the Atlas, it took me a while with the pods. The pods are what were the longest processes of this. Getting them to where I wanted them. Had a bunch of failed designs. I would say this one was about 6 hours. And I feel like I don't take that long on my builds because once I get going, it's just like ideas keep popping in my head and I'm just getting a zone almost. Drone called Dragonfly. That sounds pretty cool. Definitely need to work with drones a lot more. Drones are my weak area. And then you add a utility rover to explore for minerals. That sounds really cool. I'm looking forward to this next expansion. I haven't been playing any survival until this next expansion drops with the PvE. I tend to do the same thing, like lay down power, then add propulsion, reduce start the main function. Every build is slightly different, but I will say that a lot of my builds, well, it's like half and half. My builds either start with a cockpit area, and then I do components. I'm a component person before armor. The looks of the ship come after. But sometimes I will literally start with, especially with larger grid ships, I will start with as you noticed, I have a hard time talking and moving in this game. With larger ships, I'll start at the thrusters and then move my way forward, but it still is a component. First component, and then I'll worry about what needs armor later. Yeah, failure is definitely the path to success. The amount of failed designs I build. Definitely the amount of failed designs I build before I get to the actual what I'm happy with. And I will say, what I'm happy with, I'm never completely happy with. There's a very few builds. I always feel like I could still work on it, but there's a time you just gotta let go. And just let it out there for everybody to see. I have not tried building any of my designs in survival, which I actually need to start doing, because if I'm going to release stuff that I'm going to save survival ready, I gotta try. I've tested some of my stuff in survival, but actually like printed them or used them in survival, no, I need to work on that. I test my builds a lot in this world, but not in a survival world. What about the pod racer? My failed the pod racer. Oh, let's look at that real quick. Here's a failed design that should never see the light of day. I didn't just create another hole. There's so many holes on this planet. Definitely, Dobson. It's something you teaching my kids. Just failure is part of the process. How did I come up with the name Volsung Industries? That is a great question. Volsung, I've always had, Volsung is Scandinavian history, and I've always had a very deep love for Scandinavian history, especially Norse mythology. Why I chose the name Aer, because Aer is actually Norse god of the ocean. And Volsung is actually an old family name, an old Scandinavian family name. Hey Eric Evans, how are you? Yeah, that's definitely a way in survival. That is how I build all my ships. It is a connector attached to a connector, and this build from there. So everything gets piped up, hydrogen, everything as you're building, and it has power. Miss Nomad, I definitely do that with the. Sometimes you have to take a step away. If you just keep running into it, it's not gonna get completed. Or it's just going to come out a way that you're not happy with it. Didn't mean to what? Oh, my wife's complaining. There's a reason my wife's not in the stream right now. She would be launching rocket launchers or summoning a vehicle to blow me up. That's what a lot of these holes are from. There's a challenge. Try and build a ship while your wife's trying to blow you up. I'm talking about stuck on an idea. The Dobsy actually recommended like a drop pod style, either Helldiver style or like a forward base drop pod. And I have built versions of that and never actually saved any of it because I'm not happy with how it turns out. My main issue with the drop pod style thing is I feel like it has to be small grid to get the details I want. That's from my forever fight. Large grid to small grid. Small grid you get such great details. Large grid you lose them all, but you get better blocks in terms of armor. Your design plan. We're over 500. That's crazy. Wow. I definitely need a separate build. This build world was not meant to be what it has become now. But I'm happy with it. It's just houses Volsung Industries now. And all of the builds, but not my failed builds. My failed builds sit in my blueprints folder to hide away. I've looked at some videos of people that made drop pods, and not one of them has been that huge of a success, because dropping something onto a planet at those speeds with physics just equals explosion. I don't know what the X series is. Etho, what is the X series? I feel like this drop pod has to be large. I don't want it to be large grid, but I really feel like it has to be large grid. Yeah, obviously parachute stops you, but I was thinking when you started saying hell divers, I looked up other people have tried, they attempted like the hell diver, just drop in. Because how awesome would that be, just to drop in, land, and just you're off running. X Rebirth, I've definitely seen that game. Yeah, Eric Evans, you gotta make sure that the physics actually, or like space engineers wants to work at that time and the drills actually do their job. Definitely an idea I'm willing to bump like my head against a wall trying to test it out to make it work, because I think it is a really cool concept. We're gonna have a drop pod that just disintegrates as you drop anyway, but as long as you're safe somehow. No, that doesn't sound like good. My wife's giving me like a look like, doesn't sound like a good idea. Not the color that I built in. I also built, I don't know, everybody has their own way that they start building. And their skins they start building. I love weldless. Just for getting the shape down. It's gonna be so massive if I do it in large grid. When I think bunker, I'm thinking The Expanse, if you've seen that. But the Martians have those drop pods. People have already done a bunch of those, so I'd want to do my own version of them. I think it'd be cool to have a couple seats, a survival kit and such, in a pod that allows you to start a base. It would pair well with Atlas also. Because you could drop down the pod, have your like survival functions, and then drop down pod from the Atlas that would have all your components and everything in it. Yeah, I guess it's more of a drop ship, less of a pod. Because it's flyable. Well, let's take the idea of the drop ship and make it into a pod style. It's not centered. 4x3x3. Not gonna be censored, and I'm not building even. most of my builds definitely start, especially my small grid fighters, start with a cockpit. Other than this one over here. I don't even know what I started with this one. I think I started with the railguns. Ever start a build with just the railguns? There's gotta be a way to make this look good. Yeah, definitely. That's another thing I try to do, Miss Nomad, is try to do things that you wouldn't think to do. That was Arion, 100%. Was building that ship. Was constantly trying to make myself use pieces and build in a way that I wouldn't normally do, because it can create some pretty interesting stuff. Definitely creates some pretty interesting stuff if you just sit there and force yourself to build outside of the normal. I'm just thinking what I want in this drop pod. I definitely want a survival kit, and I want a container. I'm gonna need seats. Probably cryopods. And the whole challenge in the beginning of not using any DLC or mods. That was also very fun. It's fun to challenge yourself with builds. But I definitely enjoy using the mods now. And not the mods, the DLCs. DLCs just get better and better looking. Saw something in chat and then it just poofed away. It didn't get swatted, did it? Something about asymmetrical ships. My wife, Dr. H, or Dr. H. Quinzel is my wife, and that she does not currently have the DLC, so in the beginning I was building ships that she could use, that she could just paste in. Gun rack, antenna for, yeah, definitely those things. I'm trying to think of the floor space right now if I have enough. I'm definitely thinking of doing like hinges here. I want these. I have like a weird design in my mind right now of it folding up somewhat and the door dropping down and you being able to walk out that way. I'm definitely gonna butcher your name, and I apologize. Akine. It's good to see you here. How are you doing? I'm not that old. I'm not that far behind. I'm not that close, but I'm not that far behind. I definitely feel pretty old some days. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Akine, if that's not how you pronounce your name. The mileage, definitely the mileage. Your video, I know I said this in the comments, but your video, absolutely amazing. These cinematic style videos that people do on Space Engineers just blows my mind. I still look forward to that TV show. Your mileage mute broke about 30 years ago. Good, then you don't have to know what mileage you're at. It's better that way. You need to get better skilled in building and talking. Due for the Valor's back right now. I like what I did with that build, and I can't remember exactly how I set up that door.
Kiss my neck, I'm losing patience. You tell me, but I ain't against it at all, yeah, at all, babe.
I don't remember how I connected the hinges. I knew it was a blast door, but I can remember which one.
Go on and don't stop it till I say enough.
Oh yeah, Doc gets testy with you. Not knowing your mileage. You don't need to know your personal mileage.
I live in this vibe. Hear from heartbeats, hear from heartbeats. My heartbeat.
I literally just looked and I still am like distraction. I'm gonna remember this time. I'm gonna forget this time. Okay. I was taking a picture. Your odometer reads at WTF. What are you doing? There we go. Oh yeah, I can't do that yet. What did I do with this?
How can I be up from losing space? Kiss my neck, I'm losing patience. You tell me, but I ain't against
look at it up close. There it is.
At all, babe.
Not to fly anyway.
Touch after touch, I get closer to the eye. Go on and don't stop it till I say enough.
Beeble, that's great to see you. Thank you so much. Thanks for stopping in. You've helped me so much. I contacted Beeble when I first started creating content, and he helps me so much. He's an amazing streamer. Amazing content. No Man's Sky, Valheim, Space Engineers. Love his series. Think I learned. Another amazing streamer. My heartbeat, I can't feel nobody is no, but I live in this vibe. Actually, hear from heartbeats, hear from heartbeats. Not gonna let me add it right now. Why isn't it gonna let me add it right now? It's done something wrong. It can't, it's puzzling me why it's not allowing me to add the inch part. Kids just got back. Swimming lessons. Manic. Definitely know how that is. Yeah, it is. It's nice. Especially this little problem I'm having right here using my brain. There's something simple that I'm doing wrong here. Oh. I've figured out the problem. Doesn't take long. Problem was me. There we go. I didn't add the right blocks. I'm gonna have to do that again. We talk about destroying things, rebuilding things, destroying things, rebuilding things. I'm about to do the same problem I did. I think my brain already turned to mush. Not the way I want it to face it. There we go. Now that should be right. How long does it take you to build a door, hinge door? Ta-da! Forget how long it took me to make that. Not what I want to do. I want to close right now. How tall I'm gonna make this thing? That guy, shoot. Probably. Seems fine. Not do that. My favorite block in the game. Oh, we'll fix that later. Come on. There we go. And we don't have to fix anything there. I think that's a pretty decent bottom. We're gonna have to add stuff to the bottom of it to secure it, or we just do a parachute and put mag plates on the bottom. You mean build vision, Dopsy? Build vision is such a game changer. Being able to interact with all the components just as you see them rather than have to go into the control panel. I don't want all those. I want the blue one. Then get rid of the red one. goes on strike. Happens a lot while playing this game. Brain just like, no, I'm not helping you think that one. We'll have to come back at a different time. I'm also someone who just builds stuff, and it might not look great as I'm building it, but I'll come back to it. Better to get it down, like get the idea down. You can refine it later. That is too short. For a player in smaller, it's like 5 blocks. I'm going for a draw, like a forward. I guess it should probably have combat. It's a good question. I haven't really decided that yet. Yeah, definitely throw some wheels in the bottom too. Then you can slide. I'll just make a giant sled. One of my kids or somebody told me I need to make. I'm pretty sure it's my son. I need to make Santa's sleigh. That's high enough, right? I delete the block. Not where I wanted it. It's a little difficult. My daughter pushing me as I'm trying to build too. It's complications. Build challenges. Your daughter keeps grabbing your arm. I've definitely loved to try some crazy creative builds like that, like a Nightmare Before Christmas style play. I really would like this to be combat oriented. Like a forward. A lot of my builds for Volsung Industries are military focused or private military focused. Like I'm selling the product for somebody to use in a combat situation, or at least a military situation. I'm gonna have to mount some type of weapon or something to this. I'm so small to get out of. It's not though. Oh, there's the door. I have to set a limit. I was just watching one of OCP videos the other day. They have some amazing stuff. Someone compared. I had posted one of my videos somewhere, and someone compared, and I had to check out their stuff, and I was just blown away by the That is the movie quality of their videos. Or I have that wrong. Wrong order of letters there. Is that OPC? Too many acronyms. It's OPC, yeah. OPC. You said OCP. RoboCop? I haven't seen RoboCop in forever. What's the Wayland one? I thought Wayland was final events stuff. Or that's, yeah, I'm gonna find out that's another. Find my lack of knowledge of TV shows or aliens or something. Prometheus. Yeah, so it's an aliens reference. That's the thing about a lot of my ships. Most of my stuff is, I mean, obviously I've watched a lot of space movies, Star Wars, and such, and I get some inspiration from those, but a lot of it comes just from my, I don't look at a ship and then try to build a ship in that style. I understand now, Dopsy. It was me being... My brain, it's mush, I told you. It's already mush. We need to set a lower limit with this. Or an upper limit, actually. Probably 10. 10 seems good. Lands on a planet. We still don't know what we're going to put underneath. For now, that's good. Looking very boxy. I didn't realize what time it got to, and I was actually planning on just doing an hour here, so I'm actually have to wrap things up myself, Dopsy, and head out. But thanks everybody for showing up and chatting in the chat. Definitely a video is coming soon for Vixen in the next few days. It was the one that was supposed to come out on Friday, but schedules weren't working. But it's pretty much done, so you'll see the Vixen, and then Friday coming up, this Friday coming up, should be a video for the Pathfinder. So 2 commercials this week, if all goes well. If you want to stay up to date, I do have Discord. It's linked on my YouTube. And I announce in there. Definitely thank you all for being here. Thanks for the subscriptions, the likes, all the comments. They are awesome. Me and my kids read them, my wife too, and it's very heartwarming hearing the kind words. I'll definitely see you guys in the next video. Have a good rest of the day, everybody.